Hello, good morning.
Roll it again. Roll the song again.
I
Do the song.
I can't.
Song is good.
I think once is good.
Love song.
Great song.
So good the song.
Love the song.
Hi.
Moving on.
Good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
Got a lot for you today. We're going to be talking about the AI that's destroying all the other AIs, and it's the war of the robots is here.
I guess.
We're going to be talking about Superman. You know, I always love to talk about Superman. And also, who's stealing all those drugs? That's the big question. Who's stealing all those drugs? That's what people want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to know. They say, who's stealing all the drugs? Saige?
Yes.
How was your weekend?
Oh, yeah, it was the weekend. It was great.
Yeah?
My schedule has been very strange lately. We're doing a lot of filming on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I have lost track of what day of the week things are. But it was great. We filmed 2 videos this weekend. And let me just tell you, pretty funny.
So be sure to subscribe over on Pixel Circus if you're watching this on, even if you're not watching this on YouTube, you still have the ability to go to YouTube and subscribe to Pixel Circus. Like anyone can do it. You don't need like a license or anything.
Free. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. You know, we're all still on fire. Yeah. So, but it's less and less fire every day.
It's been raining in LA.
It's been raining, which has been great.
For the fire, not great for the potential of mudslides.
Right. Listen, the mudslides are going to take out the fire.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use small nuclear weapons to take out the mudslides.
It's like when they have to call Godzilla to fight another kaiju.
That's right. Let them fight is what they say.
Yeah.
But on Saturday, it's, you know, we're coming up on Chinese New Year. So there was a street fair here in the neighborhood. A bunch of us went, and there was a dude at the street fair who was selling little to-go subs with Wagyu beef.
Whoa.
Real Wagyu, like he had like the cow certificate. You know how they have a cow certificate?
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, a Wagyu beef sub. Well, I'm going to take one to go.
Yeah.
And so I did. And I brought it home, and Dagger just sat and stared and stared and stared. I gave him the tiniest little bit of Wagyu beef.
Yes.
He was losing his shit for an hour and a half.
In what capacity?
He just stared the hardest at me afterwards, like, why have you been keeping this from me?
I can't believe there's something this delicious.
Is this what you're eating all the time? This is what you're eating all the time?
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
That's why he's being such a brat this morning.
That really is.
He's still mad.
After the sub was gone, he sat and stared at me for another hour. He's like, are you sure you're not hiding any more of that? Are you sure you're not hiding any more of that?
Messed up, Anthony.
And then I put his food out, and he stared at me so angrily.
How dare you?
Like more than I've ever seen. Like I tried to give him a treat afterwards, and he was like, he sniffed it, and he was like, huh. He did the little, huh. He was just like, where is it?
It's not.
Where are you keeping it?
Now that I know.
Yeah.
You know, now that I've had.
I feel like this is why, listen to me very carefully. If you've had a mediocre life, keep riding it out.
Yeah.
Do not have even a moment of joy. Do not even understand for a second what you're missing, is what I would say.
Okay.
Because then it'll just make it 20 times worse. That's what I've learned from Dagger.
Okay.
What I've learned from Dagger is don't think about anything better that's out there. Head in the sand. Learn nothing. Know nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
C+ student all the way through life is what I say.
Yeah. But sometimes you try things and you go, oh, I'm not missing anything. That's nice. Like, Abria made me try caviar. I think Elise is in the chat. She was there to witness this.
I remember when this happened.
Disgusting. The worst thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. It's
Probably
not good.
One of the worst tastes I've ever experienced.
The caviar is
and
one of
then
those.
I went, I'm all good. I actually, you know what? I'm fine that I grew up poor now.
Yeah.
I fixed it.
It's actually better.
It was actually fine.
It's actually better because now I don't have to pretend like I like this.
Yeah. Can you imagine if I was a rich person and I had to pretend that I liked caviar?
Oh.
Frequently?
Oh.
Oh.
How lovely.
That is the worst texture I have ever experienced. And now listen, I may or may not be autistic. Jury's still out.
Yeah, listen.
Guys,
it's impossible to know.
Jury's out.
Honestly, society would be much better if we could figure out a way to tell if people had autism.
But that texture made me feel like I needed a whole new mouth.
Yeah, I can't see you liking that.
I also don't eat fish even.
Yeah.
So like I was 5 steps removed from anybody who was ready to handle that.
You have to try it. But this is what I'm telling you. If you hadn't tried it, that would have been one less bad experience that you had in your life.
True. That's what happens when you try new things.
That's what happens. And that's why we must all learn from Dagger.
Yeah.
Mediocrity throughout entirety. Can somebody give me that in Latin?
548865 said, I'm poor and we can still buy caviar in Sweden. Well, listen.
Hey, we're not talking about civilized countries.
Yeah.
We're talking about America.
Yeah. Listen, the concern of the poor here is the furthest thing from buying caviar.
Yeah.
They also can't afford like basic vegetables at the grocery store because America.
Oh.
So,
I got sick once and now I'm poor forever.
Yeah.
I said it sarcastically, but it's true.
It's also the other way around.
I said it sarcastically, but it's true for me.
Yeah.
Me personally.
And then the other way around also is I was poor, so now I'm sick forever. Both happen in America, actually. It happens in both directions.
Hey, but at least we're losing. Big news in the tech world. The biggest news to come in a very long time, I think, happened right after our president announced a $500 billion AI initiative. The government's going to invest $500 billion in AI.
Which, as a reminder, is just after he rolled back all of the protections for what goes in your food and water.
Yeah.
So,
because now we have all this extra money because we're not looking at what's going on in the food and water.
And caps on drug prices.
So
for like medical necessities. So just as a reminder, the money taken away from things going in your water, medical necessities, all that.
$500 billion, $500 billion for an AI initiative that, when you look it over, really only benefits OpenAI, a privately owned company. But right after they announced it, a firm in China, this is a technology researching offshoot of a hedge fund in China, said, oh, hey, y'all, we got an AI. We made it in 2 months for $6 million. And we're giving it to everyone for free, and it's just as good as yours. Please enjoy. It's called DeepSeek. And
every time that you say it, all I hear is Mr. Meeseeks.
Yeah, it's called Mr. Meeseeks. And look at me is what it says. It basically, if you look at all of the AI nerdlingers on Reddit, and what they're saying about this AI, they're like, well, it's not quite as good as ChatGPT 4o Pro, which is the one that you have to pay like $100.
Yeah.
Or the OpenAI 01 Pro. It's not quite as good. It's almost as good. But it's open source. You can run it locally. It's available to everyone.
95% less cost.
You can run it on
5%.
Runs it on cheaper hardware, which means it runs it on hardware that takes less energy. And it is available. If you don't know how these AI models work, usually you take one of the giant AI models and you use it to train your smaller AI model.
Yeah.
And then you can release your smaller AI model. Now, the problem with that is these large AI models, they cost money to use.
Yeah.
So if you're going to train a smaller AI model, it costs you a lot of money because you've got to rent time with one of these large. Not anymore.
No. You can have this one for free.
You can just have
it. To be clear, OpenAI got its name by saying, we want this to be that, right?
Yeah.
The whole initial mission that they claimed to have for OpenAI was that it was going to be open source, that it was going to be something anyone could use.
Yep.
And then they have continued to move in the direction of profit models.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Whoops.
So whoops?
Basically what happened was, and when there was a huge interview, obviously there have been multiple interviews with the team behind this AI, behind DeepSeek. And when they were asked, like, why open source it? Why do this? You know, obviously they are the offshoot of a hedge fund company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this hedge fund was using predictive models to sort of try to game the stock market, as hedge funds do.
Yeah.
But then one of their researchers was like, hey, I can take this stuff and I can try to make artificial general AI, like the stuff that everybody's trying to make.
Right.
And they said, okay, go ahead and do it. And when asked why, they were like, oh, because there's no money to be made off of it. There's no way to make money off of it. Like this sort of they were like, this sort of large language model, this sort of AI that we're making, there's not really like, the return on investment is not going to be huge.
Yeah.
So
and
you
the
might as well.
investment isn't that huge.
Yeah. So you might as well just open it up to everyone because maybe people will make technologies with it that can make money.
Yeah.
Which is the wildest statement. And they followed it up by saying, we have to imagine that like companies like OpenAI and these sort of things are like rushing to do it just because they want to do it. They know that it's not going to make a lot of money, right?
You have so many people sitting in a boardroom at OpenAI today being like, why would they say that?
Why would they say that?
Why would they say that? It's where we can totally make money.
Why would they say that? Why would they ruin it for everyone?
Well, don't tell people that.
We already know. We've been knowing. We've known for a long time.
Come on.
The effect that this has had as of this morning on everything. Because, everybody has pinned their profits over the next couple years to AI.
Yes.
Apple just moved basically their in-house wolf. This is like, this woman is put on failing products and turns them around. That's what she does. Mm-hmm. They moved her over to the Syrian AI team because they were like, you fucking figure this out because our AI just keeps getting dumber. How does it keep getting dumber? Because this is what it is. Everybody, we were just talking on Monday about how everyone is pushing this right now. This has done a number on tech stocks in America. NVIDIA's stock fell 18%. 18%. After this announcement. I love this. That's almost 20%. According to the fake made up money.
Yes.
The market value of NVIDIA, which remember, that's not money.
Yes.
We keep confusing that with money.
Hypothetical money.
It's hypothetical money. That's $500 billion of market value. That's the entire government project.
Yup.
We lost it in a day. In a day.
In a day. Because one team of people was like, oh, hey, we could do that too.
Yeah. And it should be for everyone because it's not that useful.
Because how many people then turn around and go, wait a minute, why am I paying for this?
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Remember, they've been giving ChatGPT away, not the good one. They've been giving the okay one away, hoping that you will use it. Every time you use ChatGPT instead of Google, it costs these chuckle fucks so much money. Because remember, it's running on a fucking render farm. You could make 13 Star Wars movies with what it costs to fucking ask OpenAI where the best coffee shop is near you.
Yeah.
Just put it into Google, you chuckle fucks.
I mean, we talked about this on Friday. We were just talking about how people have lost track of their ability to Google.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gone in two directions. We have people that are going, well, I'm going to use AI for everything, even though this is an incredibly simplistic question that is, I know, and I have my lived experience is that Google can answer this.
It's for the people that you see in comment sections going, please summarize.
Yes.
Please summarize.
And then the second one is people who act like there's nowhere to find the answer. They just go,
where did we find the answer to anything before AI?
People are just literally out here in comment sections being like, well, but where would I find a coffee shop?
Before AI, I had to scream the question out my window and hope that some Dickensian child walking by would let me know. So if I threw open the sash with such a clatter and I looked out onto the street and I said, you there, boy, what day is it? And there was no boy there to tell me why, sir, it's Christmas Day. How would I know? How would I know?
I guess AI?
That's what we use AI for.
I guess you go to AI then.
That's what we use AI for. So I love this. I love this for 100 million reasons. I love the toppling of the stock market anytime it happens. I'm sorry, America.
Yeah.
Sorry, America. We need to divest our well-being from the fucking stock market.
I think in addition to, I think the timing is really significant. It is obviously January 2025. We are 7 days after the inauguration. And I think it is important that other countries make Donald Trump look like an absolute idiot at every turn. I think it's incredibly significant. People are talking about like a little bit of awareness for the first time. And I got a very important video on my TikTok feed this week that was like, hey, just as a reminder, if you're looking at your TikTok feed and you're feeling like, holy shit, I think people are experiencing class consciousness. They're not.
They're not.
And I think that's a really important thing to notice is that like, if you are somebody who is experiencing it, you are going to inherently be served other people that are, but you have to look at the people that voted and didn't vote. You have to look at, there were more people that abstained from voting, legal people able to vote this year, or this past election cycle, than that voted for Donald Trump. Like, so we have to acknowledge that we are not experiencing that.
Yeah.
We have to acknowledge that people are scared and confused and that he is making weird fucking lie promises and he has to be proven wrong at every turn. Gonna be uncomfortable. Like, American people are going to suffer for it at the end of the day. It is going to be something that affects your conveniences and well-being for a time in order to show that his bullshit doesn't work.
Yeah. AI.
What up?
If AI closes at the end of the day today.
That was relevant to AI.
It was relevant. I'm just trying to pull it back. I couldn't think of a segue. That's all. I couldn't think of a clean segue.
AI.
AI. If the market drops this far, it will be the largest value drop in US stock market history. Think about that.
Damn.
Think about that. Now, that doesn't mean it's a crash because the valuation of the stock market is incredibly inflated.
Yeah.
But it is a huge devaluation. And the reason why I said like, hey, sorry, I'm sorry if the market crashes is because we've unfortunately, all of us have been forced to hitch our wagon to the stock market.
Yes.
It's a bummer. If you have a retirement account, you don't have a retirement account that's just money sitting collecting interest.
Oh, of course not.
You have like a 401k that is invested in the stock market.
Yeah.
And if the stock market does poorly, you don't get to retire.
Yeah.
You got to show up to work every day and make shareholder value, right? So this is a big deal. This is also a big deal for the tech market, which is in the midst of constantly massive layoffs.
Yes.
Constantly massive restructurings right now. But they're looking at ARM losing 7% potentially, Google losing 4% of their market value, Meta losing 2% of their market value, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough to make the shitheads on top go, better fire 15,000 people.
Yeah.
Better fire, because that's the quickest way to show the shareholders that we're going to right this wrong, the wrong of the invisible money. In the meantime, I think it's important to understand that, like, when we say AI is useless, because it's mostly useless, but that doesn't mean there aren't things that AI is good for. Having a decent AI model that's open sourced will allow the people doing real work with AI and real research to do better things with that research. Up until this was released, there was this feeling that OpenAI was 100 miles ahead of everybody and no one was going to catch up. They had the secret sauce. Nobody was going to be able to do anything to catch up with them. Google can't do it. Meta can't do it, right? This changes everything, particularly, like, I know somebody who works in academia and research, right? And was looking through, like, had to scan a shitty copy of a book in Middle English. Yeah. Right? That was like hard to, like, you just couldn't see. It was degraded and destroyed. Was able to use AI to scan it and translate it.
Yes.
Decently.
Yes.
That kind of stuff is good. in my production workflow, if I want to rotoscope somebody, I have a filter that uses tons and tons of rotoscoping information from the past to help me cleanly rotoscope people.
Yes.
That sort of stuff is good.
Yes. The thing I always talk about is people are able to do things like I can't afford legal help. I cannot afford the resource that potentially this can help provide, at least put a Band-Aid on it. Can fill in a little bit.
You're a large language model. Can you take this legal document that I don't understand and put it into, a standard adult's reading comprehension? So even if you're not 100% right, I can at least sort of understand what's going on.
Some things to look out for in it.
Yeah, like LLMs on their own are the least interesting, least good part of AI. But they're the part that people are trying to market the most, right? The LLM thing, it's like, don't worry. ChatGPT is going to write that resume for you. ChatGPT is going to write that video for you.
Yeah.
It's going to give that presentation. You're going to be able to do everything with it. Don't worry. No.
All garbage.
No.
What it's making you is garbage because aggregate of all of the information makes the blandest version of it.
Mm-hmm. And it
the
can't,
most common.
And it can't really just, we've talked this before, it can't really do novel or new things.
No.
That's not what it does. But there has been, over the last couple years, so many people, so many firms slashing jobs, getting rid of human beings, saying AI is going to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
We've seen it there's so many sites that I used to go to for just information that you read them now and you're like, oh, fuck, this was written by an AI.
Yep.
There's nothing, I can't take anything away from this. It was written by an AI.
Yeah.
And so many sites have been trying to do that. So many places have been trying to replace people with AI, and it's not working, but it's this promise. And the promise was built on this magical product created by these magical people.
Yeah.
Here in the good old US of A.
Yeah.
It was all money getting pumped right back into the United States economy, so it can't be bad. Oops,
it was bad.
Oops, now they don't get to hoard that money.
Yeah.
People were asking the live studio audience, when are they going to call this a national security threat and get rid of it? Here's the beauty of something that's open source versus something like TikTok. You can't get rid of it once it's out there.
Yes.
You can't really get rid of it.
Because it's open source, so as much as sure, it was founded and created in China, once somebody else builds something on it in America, it's not the same product.
Sure. Plus, even if they try to get rid of things that are written based on it or try to get rid of every fucking server that it's on, people are downloading this. They have it. They have it.
Yeah.
Some crazy bro on r/data hoarders right now is like, could I download all 600 gigabytes of this huge model?
Easy.
Could I find like space on my Plex server?
Yeah.
Where I keep old episodes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Yeah.
Is there room there to put the AI model?
Guys, 600 gigs? That is one episode of a tabletop role-playing game that I store worth of footage. I'm not joking. That's one video we make for you.
They've essentially just said, this is not for money. And you're going to get a lot of, I'm sure by the end of the day, conspiracy theorists that are like, oh, they're doing it to destabilize the US economy. Hey, and they were able to do it so easily. Number one, they're not. And number two, they were able to do it so easily because you grifters, you hucksters, put it all into one basket.
Would you say we were stable before that then?
You really put it all into one basket? Come on. Not one basket. Everybody knows about the single basket.
And our government is going to freak out and they are going to fearmonger about it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Especially because they're going to look at this and go, wait a minute, we destabilize other people's economies. Other people don't do that to us.
Oh, especially after our golden god got up there yesterday and was like, $500 billion, it's going to be amazing. America's going to be the top of AI. You got fucking took, dude. You got fucking took.
I love how stupid. Right.
Not even two baskets.
Nope.
You tech idiots. Not even two baskets.
No.
Buffoons. Maroons, I say. Nincompoops. But this is not the big AI news that I'm here for today, Saige.
Okay.
Another world destabilizing AI has had its source code found and released, Saige.
Okay.
The Eliza chatbot from the early 1980s. We all know the Eliza chatbot.
Yes.
We've all talked to versions of the Eliza chatbot.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. The Eliza chatbot was like, you'd go on to this text chat, and you'd be like, how are you doing today? I'm fine. How are you? Oh, I'm not that great. Tell me about not that great.
Yeah. And you'd be like, whoa.
Whoa. I'd love to tell you about not that great.
Oh my God. This is magic.
Well, I mean, I'm having kind of a bad day. Tell me about kind of having a bad day. It's listening to me.
Great.
What? This was the beginning of chatbots, and like, it's based on something called Markov chains. Markov chains are like, it looks at the structure of your sentence and goes, what is the relevant, there it is.
Yeah.
And is it phrased like a question or an answer? Okay, got it. But Eliza was lost. Everything that we've been using that was like Eliza, those like chatbots that made it to everybody's computers in the 80s and 90s, that wasn't the real Eliza. The real Eliza has been gone.
It's been an imposter?
Couldn't find it. They were recreations. And so there is a team called Eliza Archaeology. This was a project of scholars, artists, and programmers that got together to save Eliza and the history of Eliza. Because Eliza starts in like 1965.
Yeah.
Wild. Eliza was on punch cards and shit, dog. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So now the code is available. Anybody can download Eliza. You can have Eliza and DeepSeek talking to each other on your Plex server if you want.
Yeah.
What a wonderful time to be alive. And if you've never tried Eliza, if you go to the Eliza Archaeology Project right now, they have a live Eliza bot that's up that you can talk to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fun.
We could ask Eliza what Eliza thinks.
The AI that I used as a kid, as a teen on the internet was Cleverbot.
Yes.
Cleverbot was mine.
Cleverbot was definitely an offshoot of Eliza.
I was obsessed. I thought it was the coolest thing in the fucking world. I thought it was going to change the world. I was telling everybody, have you seen this shit? You can talk to it and it talks back to you. It remembers things I said a minute ago, kind of, sometimes.
Yeah, a bit, in a way.
And then inevitably it turns very racist. Because it does learn from everybody talking to it.
Yes.
And you had a bunch of shitbags on the internet saying racist things to it.
That's one thing that Eliza doesn't do. Eliza, I promise you, Eliza will never learn. How do you do? Please tell me your problem. Eliza, I'm worried about the collapse of tech stocks because of China's DeepSeek AI project. Is it because you are worried about the collapse of tech stocks because of China's DeepSeek AI project that you came to me? Yes. Yes. You're such a good listener.
Thank you, Eliza. That's really great.
You seem quite positive.
In all caps.
Eliza.
Pretty hot there.
Eliza rules.
Yeah.
So go try Eliza, and I think you'll find that there's not as much of a difference between Eliza and ChatGPT as you'd want there to be.
No, it feels kind of same. Well, hey, you brought up a lot of things that are relevant to this next story. TikTok, tech billionaires, China, the
huge.
Obviously, where we're in right now is a very complicated place with TikTok. If you are in the US, you actually still don't have TikTok back in your app store, as well as CapCut. And essentially right now, we're in this like, nobody wants to move because sure, he says he's not going to enforce this ban, but if he did, it would be to the tune of $145 billion a day or something like that. So nobody really wants to risk that, especially Apple. But
sure,
it is available again. However, it is on currently a 90-day extension, which is supposed to give time for potentially an American company to purchase TikTok.
This is such a standoff to stalemate situation. And the only thing that happens is America looks stupid.
So
the only way this can end is with America looking stupid one way or the other.
yes.
And it depends on whether we want to be obstinately stupid and remove TikTok while the rest of the world uses it and look like the nation that censors media.
Yes.
Or whether we want to look stupid for the government almost unanimously voting to get rid of this thing and then going, but we were just joshing.
Yeah. Because that's
we were goofing.
It will look stupid. I think it will look incredibly stupid to ban TikTok again. To ban it, unban it, ban it again is so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
I'm not saying it can't happen because we do have the most embarrassing government on the fucking planet right now. But unsurprisingly, this is all in the interest of American tech billionaires, as everything that our current administration does is. So when asked if Donald Trump would entertain Elon Musk potentially buying TikTok, he said, well, sure. I'd also be very interested in Larry Ellis buying it.
Hey, Donald Trump, why did the name Larry Ellison randomly pop into your head? Why did you, out of all the people, why did Larry Ellison, did Larry Ellison come over to the White House and call you a good boy? Did Larry Ellison, because why Larry Ellison?
So Larry Ellison owns Oracle. Oracle is based in Texas in the US. And in all of the fear that you have heard about your data, Oracle is actually who is holding your data from TikTok. Oracle hosts the servers that maintain the cloud for TikTok and almost everything else. He is a gigantic and stealthier tech billionaire. It's not one of the tech billionaires that when you think of a billionaire, you immediately name because he isn't loud on Twitter, basically. That's kind of the only difference. One of the big concerns that I'm seeing, hey, this is like conspiracy that is so useless on TikTok. Everybody shut the fuck up about Facebook owning TikTok. That's not how this works. Meta did not stealthily buy TikTok. And I cannot tell you the amount of like people a little older than me that I have spoken to that are like, did you hear that Meta secretly bought TikTok? Guys, this is not a useful conspiracy theory.
It's a stupid one.
It's a stupid one that is distracting you from the actual reality. So Meta did not stealthily buy TikTok. Currently, actually, Meta has been teetering on the edge of like being in trouble with the government inherently and with antitrust for owning Facebook and Instagram. And there has been multiple considerations of whether or not Meta would have to sell Instagram because of the tech monopoly that they hold over social media. So even it would take a long time for us to restructure the antitrust that we hold in America to allow Mark Zuckerberg to buy TikTok.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying it can't happen,
and it's
but
not
it can't
even
happen right now.
And it's not even just, it's not even like antitrust. Like it's not because, listen, the government, like, yes, there's antitrust stuff that's going to go into it, but regardless of whether something is a monopoly or not, two gigantic companies have to go through so much SEC garbage just to be like, we're bidding on this company. We have the money to bid on this company.
Yeah.
Not only do we have the money to bid on this company, but we have the money to bid on this company in a way that won't destabilize our company and ruin jobs for this many people. We won't default on this. There's like a lot of stuff that's going on with SEC filings where it's also like, hey, are you even allowed to do this? Where, you know, what are your holdings? So what countries are your holdings in? Can you mix these holdings? You can't secretly buy TikTok.
No. And it's a thing where, again, when it comes to monopolies, though we are heading in a direction for a government that does not care about monopolies, they would have to disband multiple branches of government that do still care about that before they could possibly get that through. So I wouldn't be concerned right now about Mark Zuckerberg. And I would be more concerned about the tech billionaires that are in Donald Trump's pocket that are actually most likely to buy TikTok if the sale goes through. So Larry Ellison is the evil billionaire that purchased Paramount Pictures, right?
Yeah.
I think he purchased Paramount last year for his son.
Yeah.
I believe.
Bought his kid a movie studio.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison, he also they also own Annapurna. They own a lot of stuff. The Ellisons own a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
the Oracle database system and Oracle servers built basically computing the way we know it today. They own a lot of patents. They own a lot of technology. Somebody in the live studio audience said something something that's very true. He comes from a time when billionaires were not public.
Yes.
That's the only reason younger people may not be as aware of Larry Ellison.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison's a bad dude.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison's a bad dude, but he's one of these old school bad dudes. He's like the difference if it was a James Bond villain.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between the dude that like straps James Bond to a table and fires a laser at his crotch and is like, I'm going to tell you my plans.
Yeah.
And fucking Spectre.
Yeah.
And fucking Spectre.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison is part of Spectre.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say it's Palpatine or Thrawn.
Right.
Right? So it's like, sure, you've heard of Palpatine, but Thrawn will fuck you up, dude. And like in a different place. Listen. I think we've gotten too comfortable with the idea that we know like all 4 billionaires, right? You're like, okay, well, I know, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Okay, right? Like I know Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. The scary thing is that so much policy is controlled by a bunch of billionaires you've maybe never even heard of. And you've probably heard of Larry Ellison. That's not to say you haven't heard of this person, but not somebody that you think of as like, well, it's got to be one of the 3 that I think of. And that's like a comfort that we've gotten to where we think we know all the billionaires, you know? Because like nobody has talked about any of these other people buying it. All it is Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos.
Jimmy Beast.
Yes. Yes, there was a moment where people were talking about
Jimmy Beast,
Mr. Beast buying TikTok.
That's Jimmy Beast just knows how to take advantage of a moment for marketing.
Yes.
Jimmy Beast was like, I'll buy TikTok. And everybody's like, Jimmy Beast is going to use his chocolate money to buy a TikTok. Larry Ellison, just so y'all know, the last time Larry Ellison was in the news over the last couple of months, Larry Ellison said, in the future, we're going to use AI to power massive law enforcement surveillance networks. He says we're going to have supervision. AI will report problems and report it to the appropriate person. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're going to be constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
Panopticon.
Yeah.
Oh, his idea was the Panopticon.
He just thought of the Panopticon. He invented it.
Oh.
He invented the Orwellian society.
Wow. He said, guys, I have an incredible idea. People will behave well if they assume they're being constantly surveilled. And I just thought of that.
That was me.
That was me.
Larry E. That's a Larry E joint right there. Hey. It's fucked that this is something that this dude went on record saying like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And now Trump is like, you know who'd be a great owner for TikTok?
Yeah.
You know who'd do a great job with all that data?
Yeah.
Little Larry E.
Yeah. Those who are by any chance not familiar, this is the Panopticon. Panopticon was a concept of a dystopian prison where there is a single guard tower in the center and all cells are constantly visible from it. And the idea is that you cannot see the jailer inside, but you never know if you are being watched. So although technically, sure, the prison guard could not be watching all of you at once, you never know if they're watching you at that moment. So you would behave differently because you are always afraid you are being watched and cannot confirm otherwise.
It also allows prisoners to always see other prisoners. And so prisoners who want favorable treatment are always in a place to tattle on other prisoners. The Panopticon's super dope.
Yeah.
You got to get yourself a Panopticon.
And the thing that would inherently drive you to insanity.
I just want to show, can I show a picture of Larry E?
Sure.
This man is just Hank Scorpio, supervillain.
Guys, that's
literally every villain.
You can't signal supervillain that hard.
You can't. They released a new Superman teaser, and I swear to God, Lex Luthor was wearing this outfit.
I'm pretty sure.
I swear to God, he was wearing the mock turtleneck and the gray.
This mustache,
dude.
This right here. Come on, it's too obvious.
That's Lawrence E.
It's on the nose.
That's Lawrence, baby.
It's a little on the nose, you guys.
So anyway, the fact that Trump just brought up Larry Ellison means a couple things. It means number one, Larry Ellison's been in there.
Yep.
And he hasn't been doing the photo ops like everybody else has been doing.
100%.
He didn't pull an RFK and was like, I'll eat a cheeseburger on the plane if you let me if you let me make sure the milk isn't pasteurized. Larry E just slid in there and was like, hey, billionaire to billionaire.
Yeah.
Trump is not a billionaire. Hey, billionaire to billionaire. Why don't you let me run this thing? I got you. You guys like us, we got to stick together, huh, buddy?
So he says that like 2 days ago, and immediately things start moving because the White House is now trying to put together a deal for Oracle to purchase TikTok. They say that ByteDance would retain a minority stake in the company, but the app's algorithm, data collection, and software updates would be overseen by Oracle. So that would mean that the American investors would own a majority stake in TikTok. Yeah, that's how we can describe it.
Mm-hmm.
They say the goal is for Oracle to effectively monitor and provide oversight with what is going on TikTok. ByteDance wouldn't completely go away, but it would minimize Chinese ownership.
Once again, all this is security theater, and the end goal is to get the money and the data back into American billionaire hands. We're not making all the money off of this. And by the we, I don't mean just America. I mean the five guys who run America. The Pentaveret. The Pentaveret.
This was an NPR article. And specifically, this quote said the person directly involved in the talks who was not authorized to speak publicly about the deliberations. Now, again, that's about the deliberations, but it sure does feel like you're saying, this is not anything. They're not supposed to be saying anything, but Dan, they do be talking for some reason. But NPR agreed to not name any of the sources who were speaking about this because they weren't supposed to be speaking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. People in the government don't really speak about things they're not actually supposed to speak about. They're doing it on purpose. Again, that's part of the security theater. Is like, I'm totally not supposed to tell you this. Definitely don't print it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely don't put this out.
Oh, we've all seen an Aaron Sorkin television series. We know how it goes. They're walking down the hallway super quick. A third person comes up in the hallway. Starts walking in lockstep with them. Is like, we got a problem with these. We got a problem with this TikTok. I need you to leak this to the press.
Yeah, you know the like weird B-list celebrities that call the paparazzi on themselves?
Mm-hmm.
It's that. I feel like that's what's happening here.
Yeah, look, there's no sane way for this to end.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But the sanest way it could end is if the government just slowly stopped talking about this.
Truly.
Like just slowly stop talking about this.
Yeah.
Had this issue disappear for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, what they want to do is they want to Mangione this TikTok thing. Just Mangione the TikTok thing. Ah la la. You know what I mean?
So Oracle was hosted at the White House to have a meeting about this week. There is another one scheduled supposedly. Way back in 2020, there was a discussion to have Oracle and Walmart in collaboration take over TikTok. That fell apart.
Oh, Walmart presents TikTok I actually like. Walmart presents TikTok is the most dystopian, beautiful thing.
Nothing would kill an app faster,
dude,
than Walmart presents TikTok.
You wanna get rid of the relevance of TikTok?
Yeah.
You wanna make sure TikTok is not a problem for anyone anymore? Walmart presents TikTok.
Done. Easy. No problem. And of course, Donald Trump said, Larry is a friend of mine. I never spoke to Larry about TikTok. I've spoken to many people about TikTok. There's great interest in TikTok.
I didn't speak to him. I speak to people. I have spoken to people, not to him. We never said TikTok. I do talk about TikTok. I'm not ignoring TikTok.
Lots of people are interested.
Larry and I aren't talking about TikTok, but if we were, Larry would be a good guy for TikTok, but he didn't come over and he didn't tell me I was a good boy and scratch behind my ear. He did not do that. He would never do that, and I've never had that done to me.
I forgot to put this in the spreadsheet. Did you see the Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump little fight?
Yes. Yeah, I saw it.
Guys,
we don't like Gavin Newsom, but
sometimes we like individual actions of Gavin Newsom, and that's the thing about living in a state governed by Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is somebody who is the most hit or miss of any politician I have ever seen.
He might be the closest to true neutral.
Because when he hits, he hits. And when he misses. And you never know what he's going to do. He's a complete roll of the dice. He's incredibly unpredictable. But damn, when he hits every once in a while, I'm like, fuck yeah, California, let's go. And then the next day, I'm like, please, dear God, what the fuck? So listen, if you didn't see it, Donald Trump popped off on Truth Social and was like talking all this shit at Gavin Newsom, essentially threatening California as a state. Okay. California immediately, once the election results came through, started enacting things to protect itself as a state from Donald Trump.
Yes.
Donald Trump is like, fuck you guys, I'm going to cut off your money. You need help right now because these fires choke.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay. In summary.
Yeah.
All right.
So Trump comes in, lands. They literally meet on the tarmac, and Donald Trump in his lifts.
His little lean.
His little lean that comes from wearing just the tallest lifts you've ever seen anybody wear. Starts talking to Gavin Newsom about all of these things, all of these conditions they're going to put on aid to California.
Well,
and you see Gavin Newsom immediately just standing up and being like, hey, reminder that we pay for just about every state.
Now, people couldn't hear the conversation that was actually being had here. But
No.
what we did see instead was Gavin Newsom waiting for Donald Trump when he landed, standing there at the tarmac. So as soon as him and Melania stepped off, he was right there, stepped up, shook his hand, and did Donald Trump's famous move where he
yank.
held onto it and pulled him in. You see Donald Trump try to pull away and he goes, no, and keeps talking real fucking close to him. You guys...
That's the best handling of the Trump handshake we've seen since, I believe it was the 2017 Trudeau handshake.
You guys, look, again, I know we can hate Gavin Newsom again tomorrow, okay? And we're gonna. And this is the inevitability of it. But on this day, damn right, I'm proud to be Californian.
Yeah.
Because that be fucking good.
The details of their meeting was released later, and it was it turned into obviously a much more political, cordial meeting. But the power play in the beginning was so hilarious. And whenever anybody tries to power play California, and this is one of the things that I love about living in California, is California goes, interesting.
Oh, that sure would be a bummer for your economy if you decided to power play California.
Interesting. So what will we do then when we decide not to pay into these programs anymore?
Yeah.
And what will you do to us?
Yeah.
What will happen to California, I wonder?
What do you think? And then one of my favorite things is that my favorite comment on TikTok was, and then Gavin Newsom did something Trump could never do, kiss Melania.
Mm-hmm.
Because the amount of times we have seen Donald Trump go in to try and kiss Melania, even on the cheek, and she goes,
yeah. She loves Gavin Newsom. But I think it's important that we also state that that's not Melania.
What?
Have you not heard this theory?
No.
That there's a replacement Melania because Melania won't go anywhere with Trump?
I have not heard this. Look at that.
Look at that.
Pulls him back in.
Look at that. Just that like, hey partner.
Yeah.
Hey champ.
Hey, pal.
Hey buddy. Let's just a little
Yeah.
reminder.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Mwah. There was
And
a little.
she goes right in for it.
Yeah.
She loves it. Keeps walking with him. If you've ever seen a clip of Donald Trump trying to do exactly that to Melania, she just goes,
Just the in the chest, the like,
yep.
hey champ.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing?
What do you think happens
Hey
here?
bucko.
Hey. Oh, so I just like the idea that he talked big online.
Mm-hmm.
He did the thing. And then he was like, okay, awesome. But I will see you in person, dude.
Yeah. I'll see you.
I can read what you say on the internet and see you in person.
I'll see you when I see you, bud. When the bell rings at 3:00, I'll see you outside. When you're on the way to the bus, maybe I'm there. I don't know. Maybe I'm there. So there's a lot, it's a lot going on right now with technology. There's a lot going on with the economy. There's a lot going on with all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I want you to know that there is a force for good in technology, Saige.
Okay.
Somebody is looking out for all of us.
Mhm.
One of the biggest tech companies is working still to make humane, recyclable technology Sustainable tech for our lives. And
That sounds good.
that huge tech company is Lush.
The bath products?
Yes. Lush, the bath bomb company.
The smelliest store in the mall?
The smelliest store in the mall has announced, Saige, a vegan recyclable floating speaker. That's right. Lush is doing it.
Okay. I guess I didn't know that my speakers weren't vegan.
No, like that's the thing is if a vegan person wanted to eat a Bluetooth speaker,
Yeah.
if I walked into your house and you had like a JBL or a Wonder Boom
Yeah.
and I was hungry and I was vegan,
Yeah.
you would have nothing to
I would
offer
have
me.
nothing to offer you.
You'd be like, would you like a bite of this JBL? And I'd say, I can't have that.
I'm so sorry.
Is that a vegan Bluetooth speaker?
Yeah. No. Can I tell you something? I used to work in makeup sales, and a lot of brands really make a big deal of being vegan, right? That they don't use animal products or animal testing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working with a girl, and I overheard her sales pitch for these lipsticks where she said, or no, it was a foundation, something you put all over your face. She said, yeah, and it's vegan. There's no meat in it.
Not a single bit of meat.
And this woman had been working there for a significant amount of time. And it was in that moment that I realized, oh my God, for 3 years, this woman has been telling people when she picks up a bottle of vegan anything in makeup, has been saying no meat in it.
You get not a single ounce of pork.
There's no meat in this
This
foundation.
is this is kosher and halal.
Okay.
The
Anyway.
live studio audience, they want to know, is the Beats pill not vegan either? It's a pill. No, gelatin casing.
Yeah.
Gelatin casing. You got to really look out when it comes to medications like that. So basically, this is actually kind of interesting. Lush, who I did not know, was the inventor of the bath bomb.
Oh.
They're a British firm, and they were like, hey, we've always done things kind of like cruelty-free. We know like the exact supply chain of where we get stuff and everything. I wonder if we could make a technology.
Well, I guess here's the thing. If you're all about, we provide relaxing bath experiences,
Mm-hmm.
a Bluetooth speaker, a pretty common like thing you would have for a bath. So I guess you're going into the mall, you're picking up a few things, you get your bath bomb, you get a speaker for your bath.
Exactly.
I guess.
It's waterproof.
Sure. That's pretty common.
Yeah,
for bath speakers.
it floats around. It does all the stuff. It's about the size and shape of a bath bomb, so it does look just as delicious.
Uh-huh.
But it was really funny because they did this interview in Wired, and everybody's like, well, we're not buying a speaker from Lush. Especially because it wound up being almost $200.
$180 bath speaker?
Do you know why though?
Why?
Because when they started looking into making an ethically sourced piece of electronics,
Yeah.
they were like, oh no, you can't.
Yeah.
They did it as well as they could. And they were still like, we still made like some small concessions that we didn't want to make because we would like talk to the people who were making the battery and we'd be like, well, who supplied this battery? What's it made of? What's the chemical composition of the battery? And where does the battery come from? And they were like, people either didn't know or wouldn't tell us because they were like, trade secret, we won't tell you that. And so they were like, we had to make some compromises, and even making the small compromises that we made, it costs $180 because it's ethically sourced and it won't fall apart. And in order to make something ethically sourced that wouldn't fall apart, we can't sell it for any less than $180. And Wired reviews this and they're like, look, it doesn't sound the best. It's not the best speaker I've ever used.
It's not going to be the best speaker you get for $180.
It feels a little cheap and like, but like, yeah, I guess this is what it takes to make a speaker that you don't have to feel guilty about.
Belly PB said the meat makes the speakers cheap.
And it provides the rich, warm bass.
Yeah.
That's what, if you don't have like, you ever tried a Wagyu speaker? There was a guy at the street fair that was selling Wagyu speakers.
Yeah.
And oh my God. I listened to that and I was like, I can't listen to anything else now. They were talking about it and they're like, whoa, this is the other thing that they wanted to do is there's an app for it. You don't have to use it, but there's an app for it. And they made playlists to match all their different bath bombs.
Yeah.
And they were like, in order to get real people to write music for these playlists and pay them a decent amount of money. They were like, this is so expensive. They're like, everything about this is so expensive. Y'all don't understand.
Yeah.
We have to charge $180 for this. And then the reviewer was like, I opened up some of the built-in playlists and they kind of suck.
Yeah, I bet they do. It's very interesting. It's a thing that makes you think. I feel like they're not releasing it really as a we're going to sell a bunch of speakers, but instead as like a, hey guys, in case you hadn't noticed this thing is happening. Like if you'd never questioned the price of this thing, maybe you should. It's probably going to be a very short-lived product.
That's what they say. But they also say like you can bring it to any Lush store if you're having problems with it and they'll repair it. Like they want to repair the speaker. Like why am I getting better service and higher quality from Lush, the bath bomb people, than I am for any other electronics company that makes my technology?
Weird. Yeah, wait, why do they need playlists?
They don't need it, but they were like, we wanted to give like a full experience and we wanted to see what that would cost and what it would be like. And so we like got musicians to like create playlists that match with our special bath bombs. And the Wired guy was like, these playlists are not very good. I do not like them. This music is not very nice. Luckily, like you can play any music through it. It's just a speaker, but like, Jesus. One of the things that people may not know about Lush is they're in the UK, and everything they do is like their whole supply chain and everything is in the UK.
Yeah.
So they're trying to be as ethical as possible. And they're like, whoops, there's no way to do it. They do say, they're like, listen, even this turns out to be a commercial flop. The process of developing first hardware product has been invaluable. We're thinking about what kind of other accessories we can make, what kind of content we can put on the app that's actually good for people.
Yeah.
And then also like, what other bathroom technology can we make? Like, what other things can we do? They want to make like, can we make it charge? Can we make a charger for the speaker that's like hydroponic and it connects to your shower head and like charges your speaker through the water pressure? Like,
and the answer was probably no.
The answer is probably no. Like that doesn't sound like enough.
No.
But
sounds like it would be $1 million.
But it's like, oh, this is what it's like when people try to think of ethical things, I guess. I don't know.
Well, what a time. But
what a time.
You know what? Let's take a break from the news.
Okay.
And let's talk a little bit about food, shall we?
Sure.
Listen, today is our second episode sponsored by Factor. You always know this comes in two parts. The first one, we ordered a box of food. The second one, we got a box of food, which is great news. Factor is a fantastic meal service. You can choose how many meals that you want shipped to your home to make sure that you're eating right. You can choose from different dietary restrictions, just different food preferences. You can pick what meals go into your box. You can choose how many that you get per week. And it's just really helpful for making sure that you have something decent to eat so that you don't default to like SpaghettiOs.
That's right.
Maybe that one's a personal one.
That's theoretical. We don't know. Like we don't know.
Hypothetically, maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want something that reminds you to eat a vegetable. Last night, I had two options. I said, okay, well, I can either have pizza rolls or in 4 minutes, I can have chicken, green beans, and potatoes. That was a real meal. That saved me.
That's a real meal. That's what it is.
That would have been like the only thing I ate yesterday would have been pizza rolls.
I eat everything from easiest to most difficult. You know that.
And these are incredibly easy, and we're super grateful that Factor decides to sponsor. We have a link so you can get 50% off of your first order, and also a code. You can use both, either. I don't know. It's popping up in the chat. It'll be in the description on YouTube later. But we have an actual meal here for us to eat, as always. I like to bring one in for us that feels just right. 10 in the morning.
That's right.
I like to pick out from the collection of dinners that we order. Now, there's breakfast options. I want to be very clear. There are breakfast options. The default is dinners.
Yeah.
But they do have breakfast options on there.
Sure.
And yet. I picked the most ill-fated 10 a.m. dinner that we possibly could. And once again, we're digging into a little bit of Nona's pasta dishes.
Hey.
Last time we got something from Nona's pasta dishes as well.
We're garfing it, baby.
So, Anthony, we have two options because we didn't decide this in advance. We can take a BRB or you can tell them about something else while I go microwave this.
I can tell them about something else.
Anthony will tell you about something else. I am going to go pop that so you can see in real time how fast it is. Have a good meal. Okay. I'll be right back, I guess. Good luck.
Okay, bye. Folks, I'd like to discuss with you a situation in Chicago a Chicago situation that has to do with wildlife. I don't know if you think of Chicago as a place that's teeming with wildlife. I mean, unless you consider sketch comedians wildlife, which you might. You might. But there are apparently coyotes in Chicago. It is not unheard of to see coyotes running around in Chicago. I did not know this. I've been to Chicago multiple times. I haven't seen a coyote once, but apparently it happens. People are saying yes. Lots of coyotes in Chicago. Well, there was a coyote that people had been seeing for a little while, and they couldn't find it. The coyote had gotten away. They had chased it down. They did not know where it went. It simply disappeared. And as animal control was trying to find this coyote, do you know where they found it? I'll tell you where. It was hiding in an Aldi in the fancy cheese section. It was hiding behind the fancy cheeses. They couldn't get it to leave the fancy cheeses. The coyote was simply chilling in the fancy cheeses where it could not be found. Trying a Humboldt fog. You know what I mean? Trying a smoked Gouda. Now, what you are seeing here, which is unfortunate, is Chicago PD, not the television series, the actual people, pulling the coyote out of the cheese case because Chicago recently apparently made budget cuts to animal control. And so the Chicago Police Department has had to answer animal control calls. Clearly not the most trained for it. I do want to show this, though. They remove the coyote from the cheese. And as soon as they do, the coyote's like, no, I'm going back in. I'm going for more mozzarella. You can't keep me from it. This coyote, by the way, is known in Chicago as Loverboy. Because when they caught the coyote and they put it in the carrier, look at these soulful eyes. And it is, of course, the beginning of coyote mating season, which I did not know. And they said that Loverboy potentially was just heading to Aldi to get some nice cheese and wine to bring home and sort of get down as it is mating season. Look at those eyes. That coyote's an active listener. That's what you can say about that coyote. So there you go. That's Loverboy. Oh ho! Look at the soulful eyes on this guy, Saige. Loverboy. Loverboy the coyote.
Well, everybody.
Hey, it's a Nona's pasta.
In just 2 minutes, I'm back with a beef bolognese.
Hey, look at that. Look at that.
Pretty good. It is hot. It took exactly 2 minutes in the microwave. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
I made a chicken one yesterday. Put that, like, you put a napkin over it in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious. Gourmet.
A lot of chefs won't tell you, but that's the secret. You put a napkin over it.
Guys, it's actually delicious.
It's really good. I got to tell you, I say this every time we do it. I don't like food out of the microwave.
No.
I'm not a microwave food guy.
No.
Something it does to the texture, something it does to everything about it. Yeah. I don't usually like it. Factor meals are good out of the microwave. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing over there. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't get it.
That's why you brought the napkins.
That's why I brought the napkins, because we're having a little meal. We're having a little breakfast meal.
The
at
other
10 in
thing is
morning.
the vegetables always have enough garlic and seasoning,
Yes.
which is not something that normally happens with a microwave meal.
No, there are always unseasoned vegetables in a microwave meal that are soggy.
Hey, these factor meals, they're Loverboy approved. They're Loverboy approved. Go ahead and sign up for Factor using our code. Get yourself some good meals.
Guys, maybe 10 a.m. isn't too early for beef bolognese.
Never.
You know what I mean?
Never.
All right. I'm going to take this out for a minute. Got more news to get to,
All right.
I suppose.
I'm just going to have one more bite
Just have a
before we go.
little
I'm
more
going to
before it
have like
goes.
one more bite.
Have a little more before it goes.
I might as well, you know?
We'll finish the show. But yeah, use the link. It helps the channel. It helps us. It makes Factor want to continue feeding us. Pretty neat.
Take this from the most Italian named guy you know. Hey, that's a good pasta.
All right. I'm only setting this down. I'm coming back
Okay.
immediately.
While we're talking about some fun stuff that's been happening, I'd like to show you.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about some more animals getting into stuff.
Okay.
Saige, I'm going to be that guy on TikTok. The Houston Police Department had a problem. Drugs were disappearing from the evidence room at an alarming rate.
Now, you say at an alarming rate because it's pretty normal for cops to steal drugs from evidence rooms.
Yeah, but this was an alarming rate. Of course,
There's a normal amount.
this became a big deal. An internal investigation was launched.
Yeah.
They were trying to figure out who was taking all of these drugs from the evidence locker.
Yeah.
Because this was evidence and it had a
And
huge
lockered.
and a huge street value, right?
Yeah.
3,600 cases. Drugs from 3,600 cases were disappearing. This obviously had to be some sort of organized effort. And Saige,
Yeah.
it was.
Oh.
Saige, $3,600 worth of drugs
Mhm.
was stolen from the evidence room by rats.
Damn right they were.
The littlest guys were going in to the evidence rooms and grabbing themselves just enough.
Look at the smile.
This dude is trying so hard in the background not to laugh. Look at this guy. He's just like, yeah, we figured it out. It's me, Sean Terre, the district attorney. I went real hardline on this. And let me tell you what I found. Rats.
Tiny Chaos Mouse said, my time has come. My 3 pet rats are watching right now. Consider this a warning, okay? Let this be the this is your brain on drugs to your rats, okay?
Rats off to you. You know what I'm saying?
Allow us to inflict a little bit of fear upon your rats for the dangers of cocaine.
The Harris County District Attorney's Office has notified attorneys in thousands of criminal cases that rats have eaten the evidence from their cases. These rats are for the people.
Well, they're mostly for the drugs.
Hey, the rats can get a little something out of it too.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't believe in the war on drugs,
No.
but I do believe in the war on evidence rooms.
Yeah.
And if those rats are sneaking in and they're freeing 3,000 people, no evidence. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to tell me the dog ate the evidence?
Okay.
Oh, you're going to show up to court and be like, oh, Your Honor, we had evidence of this, but a rat ate it? Get the fuck out of here. My client goes free.
Yeah.
3 stoned rats in the back of the courtroom like, we did it, man. We fucking did it, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. That's 2,999. Just one more, and we can retire.
Now, Anthony, it does say here
Yeah.
that up to 3,600 cases have been compromised, including cases of capital murder.
Now the rats did go a little far. Am I going to say that the rats maybe went a little too far? I don't know. I am not the district attorney. What I will say is there's a lot of stuff in that evidence room. You gotta weigh whether you're doing more good than harm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you get rid of all of the drugs,
Uh-huh.
are some of those drugs going to be involved in capital murder cases, Saige? I guess.
Yeah.
But also, like, what about the ones that aren't?
But what about the ones that aren't?
Are they freeing more people that deserve it than don't deserve it? I don't know. I'm not the rats.
Yeah.
And I'm not the district attorney.
So who could say?
Who could say?
Would I say that most cases are probably, especially if they involve drugs, probably worth letting people go? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd
And
say
those rats get you. Those
Yeah.
rats are with you. I'm on the, yes. Thank you. Chaotique in the live studio audience. I'm on the side of the rats. Same.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Always.
you throw out the baby with the capital murder bathwater, says Devin Godzilla.
Yeah.
You let one, listen, it's the trolley problem, am I right? It's the trolley
It's the
problem.
trolley
It's the trolley problem.
Sure, you could do nothing. Rats. Sure, the rats could do nothing. Or,
But it's not like the rats to stand idly by
No.
when injustice is being done.
Yeah.
Do they wish they could have done it in a more organized way?
sure,
Once
I'm
again,
sure.
I don't know, because I don't know how, like, what are rats about?
But probably.
Probably.
I'm willing to believe that.
Me too.
But
Me too. So those are your run-ins with animals and cops this week. If we had a nickel for every story about animals running into cops,
we'd have two
we'd have
nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
And some other interesting thing. This is something that I wanted to show to you, Saige, and get your opinion on.
Oh,
I want you to look at the tabletop table.
okay.
We've talked about having game room tables before
Oh, yes.
and how nice it would be to have one of those fancy game room tables with like the compartments and the little, you can pull everything open and you can put all your little bits and bobs, or you put like, I'm even jealous sometimes of the puzzle table,
Yeah.
you know?
Careful. Elise is in the chat. She'll build it.
I dare you.
Be careful.
Where you just put the tabletop down on the unfinished puzzle,
Yeah.
go about your day.
Yeah. So you can come back to your puzzle.
Yeah. I love stuff like that. But I don't have, number one, those things are crazy important or
Mhm.
crazy expensive.
Yes.
And they're huge.
Yes.
I don't have the space. I don't have the money.
Mhm.
So I saw this. This is something that was launching soon on Kickstarter. It's called the tabletop table. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, this actually looks kind of nice. You can see it's like a secondary table that goes on top, and it's got these like little, sort of trenches, these channels
Yes.
where you can put, anything. You put your pieces, you can put your cards.
Yes.
You fold it all up, you bring it with you, it folds down nice.
Mhm.
I was like, this is very good. They've got like a little before and after here where you can be like, oh no, look how messy.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, damn son, that's organized.
I love it in every shot, except for the one where they're all at the dining table and all it's done is make the game harder for everyone to reach. There's the one shot that they showed where I'm like, why'd you include that? Them using it at a picnic, gorgeous,
Yeah.
beautiful, perfect.
Coffee
Using it on
table?
the coffee table, gorgeous, beautiful, perfect. Especially because it's minis, so it's not a board game. You're not constantly interacting with it, right? It's minis. We're like, oh yeah, I'm up for my turn. Okay, I'm moving this thing, but I want to be able to see it, visualize it. Love it.
Yeah.
The one where they're playing a board game and it's on top of what is already a perfectly feasible dining table to play a board game on.
Yes.
And they're all having to reach like this, where it is now at an inconvenient height. Hate it there. Love it in every other shot though.
Yeah. I like where they show the modularness of it, where
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
oh,
neat.
hold your cards, hold your little bits,
Dice.
hold your minis, your dice. Saige,
Yeah.
when you look at this table,
Mhm.
and you look at the quality of it, set a price for this table in your mind?
Oh, it's going to be expensive. I'm going to say it's probably a $1,500 table.
You put it at $1,500.
I have seen how much the shitbag company that is Wormwood can charge for wood. And I just assume there is an absurd like upcharge on all things like this. They're going to be like, it's the fanciest wood from the priciest trees.
Yeah.
As a reminder, everybody, fuck Wormwood.
Fair enough.
Just in case I've never said it out loud on this channel, I feel proud to say it.
So based on competitors, you're saying 1,500.
I'd say a good price for it would be like something where people would actually buy it and use it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Buy it and use it price, $600.
$600.
600 is a buy it and use it price. 1,500 is my like, oh, this is probably what they're charging because the trees are elderwood and all of these other things.
I put it around like 300 to 400.
Wow.
I was like, for me to buy it,
Yeah. I guess it doesn't have that many accessories.
yeah, for me to buy it and carry it around with me and be like, and it is nice, and they are sort of building up how fancy it is, I was
Yeah,
like, 300, 400, maybe.
No way.
This is a $900 table that goes on a table.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm telling you.
Who justifies that?
Wormwood ruined everything for everyone.
Like, I love how this looks. I love how it looks when they're setting it up.
It's small.
It's very small.
Why is it so small?
And it doesn't have its
when they
own
use it on
storage.
tables.
It doesn't have its own storage.
Oh.
Like, it's just the table. Like, you're not storing things in the table.
Yeah. No, unfortunately.
I don't know, man. Somebody said, Jelly PB said, or no, Trixzilla says they always upcharge you on things that fold.
Yeah.
And that's true. The second something folds,
Yeah.
people are like, well, it folds.
Oh, you want conveniences? You know what I keep seeing?
What?
I keep seeing them assemble this, okay?
Yeah.
And I look at pictures like this, and I think this is the top of the table,
No.
like a version that you can use, because felted tops of a table is extremely convenient. It makes it so it's not so absurdly loud when you roll dice on it. You don't have to have a dice tray.
Yeah.
But it's not. There's no like felted side of it. And I
No.
kept thinking it was like, oh, there's multiple, like they showed them having a chess game on it. If there was multiple
Yeah.
interchangeable
Yeah.
faces that you put onto the table, you had like a built-in fucking chessboard. You had the like felted version. You had one that was like just a standard like hex grid. I'd be like, I'm kind of back in.
Yeah.
Right? Different faces that go into it.
Sure.
It doesn't. It's just table.
Or even a compartment for bits.
Yeah.
If I knew that I was carrying that and like 2 decks and like counters,
Yeah.
right? But no, the felt is like when you fold it down, the felt becomes the outside, I believe.
Yeah, that's the
So you don't-
underside of it.
So you don't scratch the table. But if something like this was, if somebody made a less version of this
yeah.
for like $250 to $300,
Great.
I feel like that would be great. The tabletop gaming stuff has gotten like crazy out of control
It
for
has.
pricing.
That's why I guessed so high. Because I'm telling you, they've ruined everything. Like a gaming table is so inaccessible for almost everyone, except for that one 55-year-old white man that has a basement dedicated to gaming.
and
you know what I mean?
that guy doesn't need this.
No. That's what I mean. But like those are those ones that you're buying. The,
Yeah.
like, big game tables, the wormwood tables.
It's too much. It's too much.
Why
And like
not?
I understand with the tables, I sort of understand because all furniture is expensive.
Yeah.
And this is furniture for a specific use, which
Yeah.
is not a mainstream use.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, you're paying a bit of a premium on it. It's too
Yeah.
expensive, but that's cool if people can afford it. But something like this,
Yeah.
that's essentially like a fancy lap desk.
Yeah. It's the same technology as that thing that makes your monitor a little higher on your desk.
Yes.
That's it.
That thing, man, I saw somebody at the coffee shop unfold one of those.
Wow.
They make a folding one. I'm sure it's
I'm sure
expensive.
it's $900.
But they make a folding one
Yeah.
that unfolds, and it was somebody who turned their table at the coffee shop into like a standing table or like an ergonomic table for their laptop. And I was like, this is too much.
That's a bit much.
This is Aubrey Plaza with the luggage cart going into the Starbucks
Yeah.
with like the desktop.
Something else? I gotta keep my dice down here still?
I mean, I guess you could keep it in the cup. They have the little cups.
But it's small cups.
It is small cups.
Look how many dice. This is a normal amount of dice, right? For playing D&D. This
Sure.
is like the equivalent of 2 full sets, okay?
Yeah.
Can't fit them all in there. They're still leaving things on the table down there.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm like, listen,
Hey, also, guys, hey, promo pictures. Hey, as somebody who makes crowdfund videos basically for a living, okay?
Yeah.
Guys, if I may, iron out that fucking grid. Iron out that fucking grid.
yeah, the
What is
grid,
this?
make the grid edges lay flat.
This has nothing to do with the table.
No,
This has nothing to do with the table.
no, this is just production. Like the grid edges of that roll up grid.
But why are we doing it? Like,
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Look, and I'm not trying to bag on these people where it's like obviously a small group of people who are getting together to make this.
Yeah.
Make your dream product. I hope that there's an audience for it. $900
Mhm.
maybe you might be shooting for the moon here.
I think this would have been a much more sellable product if they had marketed it specifically as playing games like outside, like anywhere but at home on a table. Because every time they show it somewhere other than a place where I already have a table to play at, I'm kind of back in. Sure, not $900 back in.
Sure. But hey, what about this? They sell another smaller table. that you then put on that table. And then on top of that table,
Yeah, make it look like a wedding cake.
you put that Warhammer miniature that they sold last year that's playing Warhammer.
Yeah. Pretty good.
You get what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, I'd say that's a bit much. I like that the detachable little pieces do at least go into it.
Yeah.
But I would like for in there that to be a place where I can store game pieces, some maps, even just some basics. Like I understand if you're bringing a game, you're not going to fit your whole fucking game in there. I get it.
Yeah.
It's going to pack up pretty small, which I think is neat.
I wish when they show it packing up like that, I wish there was a specific other compartment.
Yeah.
Just for some stuff. Yeah. I'm not saying it needs to hold like a full chess set or something.
Yeah.
But like, could I get a deck and some dice in there?
Yeah. And no, not anything.
They do say that once it goes live on Kickstarter, the first 25 people are going to be able to get it for like 50% off, which makes it a $450 table.
Okay.
Which still is like a little more than I would want to pay.
They said, after that, they anticipate it being 900. So they said the early bird, just 25 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
25 people, super
Only
early bird.
25 people. Okay.
And then everybody after that will get 10% off.
Uh-huh.
So that's like, $90 off a $900 table.
Yeah.
I hope is that this is one of those things. I hope they do well. I hope every independent company that's doing their best to make something that they love does well in their, but I also hope they do well enough to look at it and be like, okay, is there a mass producible version 2 of this?
Yes.
That's affordable, that adds some more features. Could we make it happen?
I'm open to seeing that.
Yeah.
I also want to issue a clarification because Zanzibar is coming in to defend woodworking prices. Valid. Woodworking is an incredible skill.
Yep.
It takes a ton of time and effort, and the materials are extremely expensive. When I say fuck wormwood, what I mean is a wretched company that allowed a woman to be assaulted in their building and then tried to cover it up and said, that's not our problem. We don't have to help you. They are a wretched, vile, horrible company that has been outed for absolutely atrocious actions towards their employees and people around them that should never be supported.
It's not about the quality of the wood.
It's not about the quality of the wood or the pricing of it.
Yeah.
I do know the way that they were upcharging because we work in this industry, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Their prices were continually climbing where you were paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a dice box. That's a little excessive, and I'll say it.
Yep.
I have no problem saying it, but I wouldn't be saying it if they weren't horrible people.
It's got nothing to do with the crafting of their product.
Yes.
I guess can we do? It's about time, but can I do one more weird thing before we go?
You may.
Saige.
Yes.
I'd like to show you this, if I may, and I'd like to show everybody else this. There is some audio to this. I will be turning it down, but you might want to be ready there. This is mushies.
Oh.
That play the keyboard.
Oh. What is happening?
So here's what's happening. A fungal network uses trace amounts of electrical current to...
A little. They can't hear anything. Right now we've got...
Okay.
Yeah.
Turns...
getting a little bit. All right, now please go on about this.
Fungal networks communicate through trace amounts of electrical current.
Uh-huh.
You can see the 2 gator clips hooked up to the 2 mushies there.
Yes.
This completes the circuit, looks for different variable amounts of electrical current, and assigns it to musical notes, so the communication of the mushrooms is turned into music.
We're listening to mushrooms talk.
Yeah. Yeah. You know who sent me this video?
Who?
3 extremely high rats. They were like, my dude, you've got to check this out. But I think this is cool. There's been a lot of science stuff about like the intelligence of fungal networks. And it's like a fun thing to talk about, particularly in a post The Last of Us age that we live in now. I don't want to overstate the intelligence of a fungal network.
Sure.
But
you would never.
But there is some communication that goes between them. And it is cool to see a project like this that's like, well, if that's how they do it, can I run that into a MIDI system?
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it one more time,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I just mean the person.
No,
was
I
saying
know,
that.
but like,
Yeah. All right, y'all.
it does have a bit of eShop vibes to it. It does have a
does.
little bit of that Nintendo menu vibes.
Yeah. The top comment says those mushrooms are on a human trip.
Ah, if this, then what? You know what I mean?
Y'all, and that is it for today. We love you so much. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. We're going to be off for a couple of weeks right now. We got a couple of things coming up. February is just going to be a little bit bananas, so it's too early. It's going to be a little spotty right now, but we love you so much.
We love
really
you very much,
appreciate
BBs.
the time that you spend with us in the mornings. It's very cool of you. We appreciate everybody who has supported us on Patreon, patreon.com/Pixel Circus. It's very cool of you. Everybody who subscribes, who likes, who posts about the show in the morning when it's going live. Shout out to Flatlander for the most creative each time of going live promos.
Yes.
Like absolutely killing it. I finally have Blue Sky actually logged in on desktop because look at this. Each show, you guys. Each show.
Look at that.
Every time. Nothing but bangers.
Come on.
We appreciate
Shout out to Flatlander. Shout out to everybody who tells other people about the show.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who follows us on Twitch or subscribes to that Patreon or subscribes here on YouTube. That's very, very helpful to us. And thank you to everybody who joins the Discord for just being cool and hanging out, because it's a very cool place on that Discord.
It sure is. Anthony, where can they find you when you're not here?
You can find me everywhere online at Carboni, except for here on Twitch where I'm at Anthony Carboni. You can also find me hosting the official Marvel podcast, and We Have Concerns, my science comedy podcast with Jeff Kanata.
Woo! And you can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige or here on this channel where we're posting lots of videos. We have a new video that just went out playing ransom notes on the Pixel Circus tabletop channel. So if you're watching on YouTube later, it's on the other one. You know.
Yeah,
You
you
get
know.
You get the idea. We're going to go through and we're going to thank everybody who supported us here on Twitch. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Lil Brassy Atlas for 45 months. That's a lot of months.
Oh, but you want to talk about a lot of months? We've also got Core Link's cosplay for 39 months. That's 3 Pixel Circus years. Saying, been trapped here for so long, but now that I have DeepSeek, it's over for all you maroons.
Thank you to Mr. Laugh for 46 months. Said another one of those months gone by.
Flatlander for 40 months with the Prime sub. That was Beezy Bucks saying 40 months of mental turmoil over whether to like you or not. 40. There's no turmoil, baby. You like us.
23 months for Elise.
Hi,
We
Elise.
love you. Hello. Said, it is objectively too early.
Truly.
Even in your time zone. We love and appreciate you all so much. Thank you for supporting us and making this possible. You're the very best. The best people on the internet. You're very cool. And we will see you next time.
Bye, BBs.